So in this video, we're just going to be looking at a quadratic sequence, and we're just going to go straight to the questions, and I'm just going to explain the concepts as we go through the questions. So we're just going to start with this sequence. So we have 3, 2, 1, we have 290, we have 261, we've got 2, 3, 4, and then the list goes on. So we're going to try and find the first difference and then the second difference because it's quadratic. So 290 minus 321, that is negative 31. Then 261 minus 290, that is negative 29. Then 234 minus 261, that is negative 27. So you can see that the common difference is 2. So we are ready to go and answer the questions. So for the first question, it requires to write down the values of the next two terms of the sequence. So okay, I'm going to need a little bit of space. So you want the next two terms. So we know that we add 2 to get negative 29, add 2 to get negative 27, add 2 to get negative 25, and negative 23. So that's what we're going to be having. So as you can see, there's a sequence here, more like 321 minus 31, we get 290. 290 minus 29, we get 261. 261 minus 27, we get 234. 234 minus 25, we get 209. 209 minus 20, we get 189. Then minus 3, we get 186. So it's 186. So the next two terms, so we're going to write T5 will be equal to 209. T6 is equal to 186. So that's it for the first question. Let me just return to the questions. Okay, so the second question requires us to find what the general term for the sequence in this form of Tn equal to an squared plus bn plus c. So I'm just going to remove this for space because there's something I want to explain first, and then okay, I'll just say we know that we have 2a equals to the difference 3a plus b equals to the first value here, and then the last one we have like a plus b plus c equals to the first term of the quadratic sequence. So I'm just going to write this real quick. So I'll just write it down here. So 2a equals 2, therefore a equals 1. So 3a plus b equals minus 31. So 3 times 1 plus b equals to negative 31. So b is equal to negative 31 minus 3 is negative 34. So a plus b plus c is equal to 321. So a is what is 1 plus b, which is negative 34, plus c is equal to 321. So you have 1 minus 34, which is negative 33. 33 plus 21, that is 54. So c is equal to 354. So we can just write our general formula here. So we have Tn equals to your an 1 or a just n squared minus 34n then plus 354. So that's what that's for this question for the general. Okay, maybe let me write here and just clear the space. So we have Tn equal to your what your n squared minus 34 and then plus 354. Okay, I'm just going to clear this real quick so that we continue with the questions. Okay, that's good. So we are required to which terms of the sequence will have a value of 74. They say which terms, so they can be two terms. Remember that the sequence, a quadratic sequence, is actually parabolic. So you can have two values. You remember that for a parabola, you can have a certain x value, okay, something like that. Okay, you have a certain x value and a certain x value. They both have a y value. So like here, you can have like two terms that have the same value. Maybe the term is like, maybe the sequence just look like something like this. Maybe you have -2, -1, then 0, then 1, 2. So it start off decreasing, it start off like negative and then end up positive. As you can see, this one start from 321, then decreases, and then you will have like -321, excuse me, like at the end. So not like at the end, but somewhere along what the pattern. So yeah, we can have two values which are 74. So it's pretty normal for a quadratic sequence because it's kind of parabolic. So to do that, we just substitute. So because they say we have to find the terms, and the terms means that we don't know n. So we just say 74 is equal to n squared minus 34 n then plus 354. Then you just basically solve for n. Yeah, so and then we just have to okay, let me write it a little bit nice. Find okay, so we have like n squared minus 34n, then 354 minus 74, that should give you 280 equals to 0. Then we're just going to factorize. So you can see that is n minus 20 and minus 14. So if you can get this fast by factorizing, you can just use a quadratic equation and then find the factors. So n is equal to 20, or n is equal to 14. Okay, so the two terms will be these: n equals 20 and n equals 14. So it's more like you have a parabola. Okay, the parabola, yeah, it is like this. Why? Just because a is greater than 0. So when a is greater than 0, we have a smiley face, and when a is less than 0, you can see that is sad part. Like it's less than 0. Come on, it's sad. So that's what we have. So it's more like when if it was a parabola, you will say at x equals 14 and at x equals 20, we have a value. Maybe it's something like that. Okay, I didn't draw that wall like a turning point. I'm just doing a rough sketch. Of course you have x-intercepts, but then I'm just making a rough sketch for you to see that. Okay, at 14 and 20 we have a y value of what? Of 74. That's what it actually means. So for year, for terms, so term 14 and term 20 have a value of what? Of 74. I'm just giving you an analogy of what's really going on. So yeah, okay, so I'm just going to remove these. Then for this part, I'm just going to end for the last question 2.1.4, and then I'll do a second part for this one, maybe included with the next question. Then yeah, we're going to be done. Maybe it's going to be 3 parts, and then that will be it. So let's get straight to it. So we know that it's at n equals 14 and n, okay, maybe I should say and at n equals to 20. So which terms in the sequence have the least value? It's more like they talk about the turning point, because the turning point, of course, is going to have what? A least value. If it had a set phase, if a was less than 0, if it has something like this, they would have been talking about which term in a sequence has what? A maximum value. So because it is smiling, it's going to have a least value. So which term you can either derive, or else more like okay, or else you can just the other ways, more like find what you remember when you are finding the axis of what? Of symmetry, where you said n equals to negative b over 2a. So even here you can do that, but then it's more like n equals to negative b over 2a. So you have negative, then b is what? Is negative 34 all over 2 times 1. So the n is equal to 34 divided by 2, that is 17. So term number 17 has the least value. Why it has the least value? Because it's a turning point. So if it was a graph, maybe, okay, maybe it was a graph, something like that, you could have said at x equals to 17 we have a turning point. So it is something like that. So that will be it for this video, and I'm just going to do a second part for this one, continuing on this question. So yeah, see you in the next part.